Let's talk about time management for new entrepreneurs. I'm gonna make my smoothie. We're gonna have a real heart-to-heart conversation about what it is really like when you are freshly starting your business. Hey there, I am Michelle Knight, founder and CEO of Brandmerry.com, and just 6 years ago, I set out on a mission to start an online business. I started my business with the simple goal to stay home with my son. I had just given birth to my son, super cute, here's a pic, and I decided I didn't want to go back to work. This was kind of a shock to my husband and I, because I kind of always imagined I would be working up the corporate ladder and working a typical 9-to-5. But if you are a mother or a caretaker, you know that something just changes. And I suddenly had this desire to start my business. Now, backing it up 6 years ago, I was still working a 9-to-5. I had just had a baby and I was starting an online business. So I had to be super strategic with my time. Luckily, I'm kind of addicted to time management and productivity hacks, and as a Virgo, I think it's pretty natural that that is just how I normally structure my time. And so as I started to build my business and find these time management hacks, I shared them with my community, I shared them with my audience, and they served them at a high level. Then recently, 6 years later, I was talking to my community about productivity, and so many of them asked about those early days, and I realized I have never made a video about the specific things that I did in those first 6 months of starting my business. The reality is that starting your business requires a lot of dedication and discipline. When I was starting my business, I really wanted to be able to replace my corporate income. I was working in a 9-to-5 in nonprofit, running the communication, managing, a team, and I can't think and make things. Okay, cut to being done with my smoothie. Turns out I'm really great at productivity and task management, but talking and doing things with my hands, nope, not my specialty. So what I was saying is that when you're starting your business, it takes a lot of dedication and commitment, and there are definitely things that you have to choose. You really have to prioritize your business. My goal was to replace my income, which I absolutely needed to do. We were going down to one salary as a family, so I was very, very determined to make those strategic choices. So before I even get into the tips on how to structure your time and some of my favorite things that I did that really helped me produce quality creative work, even while working a 9-to-5, caring for a baby, and navigating postpartum, I think it's really important to just set the tone. When you're starting your business, you really have to have an honest conversation with yourself. How badly do you want it? And one of the things that I was constantly reminding myself of was the life that I was creating, the reason that we were doing this. Sure, I wanted to start my business because in the beginning I just wanted to be home with my son. I was having that new mommy love, but the reality of it was my husband and I had always dreamed of traveling the world. We were living off of, a decent salary, but I was in nonprofit management. Not the wealthiest of areas. I loved the work that I did, and we had all these dreams about buying property, traveling, all of the things that we have, been in the works of doing for 6 years now. And so when I was making the decisions to spend money on my business and not on my fashion or get my nails done or things like that, when I was making the decision to not watch Netflix so I could write emails, when I was waking up early, when I was making these choices, not sacrifices, choices, I always kept the vision of the life that I was creating in my mind. And I still do that today. Even when I'm going through these periods of life when business is demanding more from me, I'm always thinking about the life that I'm creating for myself and my family. So please know that these tips and these tricks are definitely going to help you structure your day, really focus in on the things that are going to move the needle forward and optimize your time at the highest level. But it really comes down to you making a choice that this is what you want and dedicating your time and energy to it, making it a priority. We always say that you have this much time in a day. We all have the same amount of time. And one thing that I've realized is that when we prioritize the things that we really want to do during this season, somehow we are able to create more time around us. It's absolutely magical. When we sit down and we really audit all the things that we're doing, we remove the things that aren't contributing to where we want to be or what we need in this season, magic happens. So please, if you haven't already, take the time to dedicate yourself to growing your business. And then of course, let's get into the tips and tricks and hacks on actually managing your time as a new entrepreneur. Okay, here we are. I'm all ready, little costume change in what I think is a better color, and let's talk about our task management tips. So again, these are some of my top tips for you if you are just getting started in your business. Consider yourself a new entrepreneur. The very first one is to optimize your time. So most likely, if you are just getting started, you're juggling a lot of different things. When I was starting, I was working a 9-to-5 and I had a new baby. So I was also navigating motherhood and trying to build a business on the side. Many of my clients are working full-time jobs, caretakers, working part-time jobs, or growing multiple companies. So what I always recommend to them is to optimize the time that you do have available. This, for me, looked like using my commute to work to listen to podcasts and to listen to audiobooks. This was really helpful for me to get into a mindset, to learn new things, to ultimately increase the education that I had around branding and marketing specifically that I could then implement in my business as I was getting started. Then on the way home, I would use that time to actually record social media posts, notes for things that I was working on, and even emails. My favorite hack was to use the voice recorder on my phone, just set it down while I was driving, and just freely talk. It didn't really matter the quality of the recording because I was going to transcribe it anyway, but what it allowed me to do was use that hour time that I was commuting home with my sleeping baby in the back seat to create content for my business. I would also utilize time when we would go for walks. Once I had left my 9-to-5, my son and I needed to get out of the house a lot. And so we would take frequent walks to and from the park near our home, and every time we were walking, I had my headset in and I was recording content. I would record blog posts, emails, social media posts, all of those different things that I was using to ultimately promote my brand new business. I would do those while I was doing other things in my life. It's like my favorite hack and a great example for optimizing your time. So what I want you to think about is those moments when you're commuting or you're on your way with the kiddos to the park, or maybe you're making dinner or you're washing your face before bed. Can you use those little pockets of time to get those ideas in your head out and document it so you can then use them within your business? The second tip I have is all about bulk scheduling. Now, you might have heard me talk about this before if you've seen any of our other videos. I love to talk about bulk scheduling, especially as it relates to content creation, because I think it's an incredibly powerful, overlooked tool in optimizing your time to create the most amount of content in a very short period. But you can really do this with everything. So I typically recommend that new entrepreneurs have one day a week where they create content. This is typically 2 to 3 hours a week, one specific setting. For me, it was Sundays when I was working my 9-to-5. Once I left my 9-to-5, I switched that to Monday. And you're ultimately sitting down, writing your content or recording your videos or your podcast, getting it all scheduled for release for the week, repurposing your content if that's something that you're doing, all in that one period of time. This allows you to then not worry about content the rest of the week, not worry about getting your social media post up every single day or posting your blog, and you are completely done pretty early in the week. Another thing that you can bulk are your client interactions. So if you are doing consulting, coaching, anything where you're doing like a one-on-one call or group calls with your audience, you want to try and schedule those on the same day every single week and try and do as many as possible. This was a lifesaver for me when I was working my 9-to-5. I would essentially work with my clients on Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the evening. So those were the only 2 days that I did. Once I left my 9-to-5 and I had more availability during the week, but of course there was a baby on my hip, I was more focused on a specific day of the week that I knew my husband was going to be home and I would have that support. So I did Wednesdays, and Wednesdays was pretty much the only day that I allowed my clients to book times with me. If that wasn't available, I still did Tuesday evenings, and I would alternate my week. So I would pretty much have, 5 calls on a Wednesday, but then the next Wednesday I wasn't doing anything. And I still do this in my business today. I bulk my coaching days, my mentoring days, my group calls for Brandmerry Academy on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which leaves me Mondays and Fridays for really focusing on my business. Another thing that you can bulk schedule is going to be like your admin time. So think about like the spreadsheets that you have to make, anything that you're tracking, you're looking at your numbers, your finances, anything like that. It's going to be really hard to do that and then jump into something creative. You're going to waste more time trying to focus in and switch brain. So choose a specific day, which I like to call your CEO day, where you're focused on admin tasks, which includes money, scheduling things, maybe contracts, invoices, all of that stuff. You'll find by actually creating specific days to focus in on one area, you're able to get more done. In addition, it really helps you schedule your time when you have a million things happening, not only in your business, but also outside of your business as well. The third tip I have for you, and this shouldn't come as a surprise, is to ask for help. So look for opportunities where you can outsource, whether that's paid or just, via a family member or a friend, so that you can gain a few extra hours every week to work on your business. So some things that my clients have used are grocery delivery. I mean, how much time do you spend driving to the grocery store, picking out all the stuff, and then coming back home? You could be using that time to write emails to your audience or market your business. Another thing is having someone clean your home. How much time are you spending doing that? On the weekends, that time you could be using to grow your business and make money in your business. Another thing is if it's accessible to you, you can also ask for help from friends and family. So if you are with a partner, how can they support you during the week and taking some of the things that you're doing off of your plate so that you can dedicate that time to your business? One of the things that I did is that one of my cousins had a new baby and was looking for support, and I was home from my job. So I would take her daughter on Wednesdays and her and my son would play, and that was kind of my primary focus. And then on Fridays, she would watch my son, which gave me a whole day on Friday to dive into my work. So are there opportunities for you to do that as well? If you are a caretaker, if you have children, how can your community support you during this time? One of the things that can be incredibly helpful is to do a time audit. So take 1 week and write down all of the different things that you were doing during that time and how long they are taking you. This is a fantastic way to see right in front of you where your time and your energy is going and where you might be able to outsource. Number 4, use a task management system. So we really love ClickUp here at Brandmerry. It is literally, if it's not in ClickUp, it's not happening in our business, but I also use it for my personal life as well. And I so wish that someone would have told me early on to start using a task management system for all the things that I was doing at the beginning of my business. It would have saved me so much time, really just diving into work every day. I only had these little pockets of time, which I'm guessing you also have as well. And so you want to utilize that time to its full capacity. So spending time to sit down and be like, okay, what am I going to work on today? And wait, there's this one thing that I think I have a deadline. What is it? You can just simplify that whole process by starting to use a task management system. So there are so many free options out there. ClickUp is our favorite. There's also Asana or Trello, Monday.com. So use whichever type of option is best for you. But what you really want to focus on is getting every task that you have into the scheduler with a start date and an end date, so then you don't miss any of your deadlines. Another thing I recommend is setting recurring tasks. So if every month you need to do something in your business, get that set up so it reminds you. It's so easy to miss those individual pieces, and so having monthly, weekly, or even daily recurring tasks is fantastic. I also have found that having a task management system really simplifies what I need to do every single day. So what I do is I log in, get on my computer first thing in the morning. In ClickUp, I have a home page and I can see everything that is due today or coming up next. And so it really takes the mystery out of what I need to work on to grow my business. A side note on that, schedule every single thing. Every tiny task that you have to do, every big thing that you are doing in your business, whether that's a live video or a class or a challenge, And I even recommend, just in your Google Calendar or your iCalendar, to schedule those individual pockets of time we're going to be working on your business, as well as all the other life things that you have going on. It's just a fantastic way to remove the overwhelm every single day, because you can look at your schedule and know what your focus is during that moment. My fifth tip for you is to schedule time off. Okay, so remember in the beginning when I talked about optimizing your time? That is essential, but you don't want to be working every single hour of every single day. Like I said, if you're working a 9 to 5, you're basically waking up, maybe thinking about your business, going to your 9 to 5, thinking about your business, coming home, taking care of life, and diving into, well, yeah, your business. And I totally get it. And you do want that dedication to getting things done and prioritizing. But I have found that even taking one day away from focusing on my business can actually help me creatively. And even though I'm off or taking a break, I get the best ideas. And so I'll just jot them down and circle back to them. So do yourself a favor and get into this routine of taking at least one full day off in your business. Now, maybe that's Saturday or Sunday for you, which is pretty typical, or maybe it's a Wednesday. It literally doesn't matter, but schedule that inside of your calendar as well so you know. And if you can keep it consistent every single week, that's really going to help you with your time management and your productivity. And this is something I recommend you continue to do as you grow your business as well. And number 6 is to focus on one project at a time. I know when you're starting your business, it can feel like you have a million different things that you need to do. So let's say, for example, that you are wanting to create your website because you've been following me long enough, you know how important a website is. You want to implement that SEO. You know you want to have a blog, and you're really focused on those evergreen content strategies. Give yourself a set period of time to work on your website. Make it a priority, add it to your task management schedule, put a deadline on it, and even put the time that you're going to be working on that particular task into your calendar. Allow yourself that focused time to get it done. This is going to allow you to get it done faster and in a more efficient way. You can absolutely get your website done in 30 days or less if you are fully focused. If you're not, you might do a little bit here and a little bit there, and before you know it, 6 months has passed and you still don't have a website. I know that it's not 100% possible to focus in on one thing and one thing only every 30 days. We have a lot of moving parts in our business. Marketing is definitely one of them. But if you can choose 1 to 2 days every single week where that is your main focus, again with the bulk creating, focusing in on a specific project is going to allow you to get it done much faster. And I have found that this focus is really important as you continue to scale your business. The amount of things that you have to do doesn't necessarily go away. Even as you hire your team, you're going to think of new creative things to do in your business. So really focusing in on one project or one offer at least every 30 days can be one of the best ways to optimize your time. Again, I know that starting a business can be a lot of work. I have been there, and like you, I was not just starting a business, I was juggling a lot of different expectations and responsibilities at the same time. So I want you to know that it is possible, but there are going to be some things that you're going to have to adjust, and definitely making it a priority is going to save you a lot of time in the long run. Inside of my program, Brandmerry Academy, I provide a step-by-step roadmap of exactly what you need to do in order to grow your business. It is a one-stop shop for branding, systems, and marketing that can support you to getting to 6 figures in your business. You can check it out at brandmerryacademy.com. I'll be back soon with another video. I have some free gifts in the description below. If you haven't checked those out already, be sure to do so, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next video.